In a quiet valley surrounded by misty mountains lived an old lantern maker named Elias. Every evening he hung dozens of paper lanterns along the winding village path so no traveler would ever walk in darkness. One winter, Elias grew too old to climb the poles. His hands shook, and the cold hurt his fingers. That year the lantern stayed dark, and the village felt smaller, as if the night itself had won. On the last day of the year, a little girl named Mira knocked on Elias's door. She was only 9, with messy braids and boots too big for her feet. "Grandfather Elias," she said, "the path is scary without light. Can I help you make one last lantern?" Elias smiled sadly. "Child, I have no more paper, no more wax, no more hope for bright colors." Mira thought for a moment, then ran home. She returned with a cracked glass jar, a stub of candle from her mother's kitchen, and a handful of wildflower petals she had dried all summer. "It's not much," she whispered, "but it's everything I have." Together they worked by the fire. Elias showed her how to melt the wax just enough, how to press the petals inside so they glowed like tiny stained glass windows. When the candle was placed inside the jar, the petals lit up, red poppies, blue forget-me-nots, golden sunflowers, dancing softly on the glass. "It's beautiful," Elias said, eyes shining, "but one small jar can't light the whole path." Mira shook her head. "Maybe not. But it can light the next step. And that's enough." That night, Mira carried the jar lantern to the beginning of the village path and hung it on the lowest pole. Then she waited. A young shepherd came by, shivering. When he saw the gentle glow, he smiled for the first time in days. He took a candle from his pocket, one he had saved for emergencies, and lit it from Myra's lantern. He walked a little farther and hung his own light on the next pole. An old baker followed the two lights. She added her candle. Then a woodcutter, then a schoolteacher, then 3 children who had been afraid of the dark. By midnight, every pole held a jar, a bottle, or a simple clay bowl with a candle inside. Some glowed red, some blue, some plain white. None were perfect. Many were cracked or crooked. But together they turned the entire path into a river of soft golden light that reached all the way to the mountain pass. Elias stood at his doorway, wrapped in a blanket, watching the miracle. Mira ran back to him, cheeks pink from the cold. "Do you see, grandfather?" she said. "You gave us the idea of light. We only had to share it." Elias looked at the path sparkling like a necklace of stars fallen to earth. Tears froze on his lashes. "The lantern that remembers wishes," he whispered, naming their little creation. Because every light on that path started with one small wish, that no one walks alone. Years later, travelers from distant lands would speak of the Valley of Eternal Lanterns. They never knew the true secret, that the brightest light didn't come from perfect paper or expensive oil. It came from a cracked jar, a handful of dried petals, and a child who believed one candle was enough to begin. And every New Year's Eve, the village children still light the first lantern at the start of the path. They whisper the same words Mira once said. "It doesn't have to light the whole world tonight. Just the next step. That's enough." Then they watched the glow travel, heart to heart, all the way into tomorrow. The end.